In the bustling quarter of Babylon, there lived a man named Lupinar, known for his endless ambition. His warehouses brimmed with goods, his caravans moved in and out of the city gates, and his gold filled many chests. Yet each evening, he paced restlessly, his eyes fixed on what he had not yet gained. One day, while visiting the gardens beyond the Ishtar Gate, Lupinar met an old farmer named Uruk. The man was bent with age, his clothes simple, yet his face bore the calm of one who sleeps well at night. They sat beneath a date palm, sharing bread and figs. Lupinar, unable to contain his curiosity, asked, "Old one, you own no great ships, no caravans, no chests of gold. How is it that you smile so easily?" Uruk replied, "Because I count what I have, not what I lack. My well gives water, my trees give fruit, my sons give honor. I rise each day with enough, and thus my days are full." That night, Lupinar pondered the farmer's words. He realized that without the balance of contentment, wealth is but a burden heavier than debt. From then on, he measured his fortune not only by coins in his purse, but by the peace in his heart. For gold may fill a man's hand, but contentment fills his life. The Lupinar hums with the muted tension of night, a fragile quiet wrapping the rooms like a veil. Shadows play on the walls, flickering in time with the oil lamps that sputter in the still air. Outside, the city's pulse slows, but inside, the air is thick with unspoken fears and concealed truths. You sit in your room, the worn straw mat beneath you offering little comfort. The coins hidden under the loose stone feel heavier than their weight, a silent promise of hope and danger. Every mark on the walls, every whispered name in the halls tells stories that won't be told aloud. Here, silence isn't just golden, it's survival. The nightly knock interrupts your thoughts. A man, barely more than a shadow in the doorway, steps inside. His robe is frayed, his sandals dusty, a far cry from the senator's gold and polished dignity. He carries a sadness you know well, the kind born from choices forced, paths closed. He doesn't speak at first, only breathes shallowly, seeking solace in the quiet. When he finally breaks, his voice is barely a whisper. "Do you ever get anyone like me?" You nod. Many do not say their truths aloud. You offer comfort without words, your presence a rare refuge. Later, the din of new arrivals shakes the calm. Wealthy men, entitled and loud, fill the room, their greed and power pressing down like a storm. You steel yourself, counting your coins, holding tight to the fragile hope they bring. Brinier smirks dryly as she nods toward the walls. Graffiti is everywhere in this place. And she's right. The Lupinar's walls aren't just stone and plaster. They're a living record of desire, desperation, and broken dreams. Names carved in jagged letters, crude poems painted in fading pigment, tally marks counting favors and payments. Clients scratch messages, sometimes praise, sometimes threats, sometimes meaningless scribbles repeated so often they might as well be a prayer. I came, I paid, I came again. The girls keep their own secret ledgers too. Marks hidden near their beds, counting nights without tears, meals shared, and moments when a client treated them like a person. You trace your own tally beneath the plaster near your headboard, a quiet code of survival. The walls hold the stories no one else will tell. Stories of lust and cruelty, hope and heartbreak. Tonight, you watch the torchlight flicker across frescoes above each door. Paintings advertising specialties, some wild and impossible, others intimate and raw. Your door's image was freshly repainted after a generous gift from a shipping agent, a rare kindness in a world of rough hands and empty promises. The weight of your name presses on you as heavily as the heat clings to the stones of the Lupinar. Felicia, your work name, etched on the doorframe with a lopsided heart, a mark that ties you to this place more than any chain could. But your real name, the one whispered by your mother long ago, feels foreign now, a fragile thread to a life you barely remember. You watch new clients come and go, their faces blurring into the shadows, but their coins remain vivid in your hand. 3 aurai from the senator's son, enough to dream of escape, new clothes, a bath untouched by others. A small hope flickers, dangerous but intoxicating. In the common room, Brinier tallies the night's earnings with a practiced eye, while the girls nurse watered wine and tired smiles. Arguments flare quietly, about freedom, contracts, and the chains that invisibly bind you all. Nissa's voice cuts through the murmur, demanding a better life, while Marcia reminds her that freedom is a complicated illusion here. The Lupinar holds many ghosts. Leah, limp and scarred, returns in silence. Once one of you, now a shadow of survival. No one asks why she's back. No one stops her. This place doesn't turn away its own. And so the night deepens, filled with laughter, whispers, and the desperate hope that tomorrow might be different. The Lupinar breathes a different kind of quiet as the late hour settles in. The clamor of daytime clients has faded into whispers and cautious footsteps. Here, in the dim corners, secrets find refuge and shadows become confidence. You notice a figure slipping through the doorway, a woman draped in a faded scarf, her limp betraying recent hardship. Leah, once one of you, now a ghost haunted by fever and loss, returned not for work, but for solace in a place that never quite forgets. No one questions her entry. This sanctuary of broken souls embraces its phantoms, knowing that pain shared is pain softened. You sit with the other girls, sharing stale bread and sour wine, trading gossip that is half truth, half survival tactic. The priestess who visited earlier lingers in whispered rumors, a veiled woman smelling of frankincense, holding private counsel with Brynja. No one expects pure intentions here, even silence speaks of hidden agendas. In this web of power and vulnerability, you reflect on the fragile paradox of your existence, legal yet unprotected, registered but exposed. The law may mark your bodies as property of the state, but it offers no shield against violence or betrayal. Yet within these walls, amid graffiti and gold coins, you carve out moments of humanity, small rebellions against a world eager to forget. The night stretches on, thick with unspoken prayers and the soft flicker of oil lamps. You lie back, heart heavy but resilient, waiting for the dawn to bring another day in the city that never truly sleeps. The Lupinar's evening breathes tension as new shadows slip through its doors. The clients have grown quieter, their voices hushed like they're carrying secrets heavier than coin. You watch from your corner, sensing the unspoken stories swirling in the smoky air. Tonight, a man enters whose silence speaks louder than any shout. His eyes betray a storm of guilt and sorrow, a weight pressing down on him like the dense Roman heat. You can tell he's not here for pleasure alone. He's here to bury something deeper. He's from a family with power, yet he carries the desperation of a man stripped bare. His hesitance is a language you know too well. The fragile hope that maybe, just maybe, in this place of whispered bargains, he can find a moment of peace. You offer no judgment, only a quiet presence. In this world, that is sometimes the greatest kindness. When he leans his head on your shoulder, it's a fragile bridge between two broken souls, a silent pact of understanding. You accept the coins he leaves behind, not as payment, but as a testament to the complexity of those who come here. Not all wounds are visible, and not all debts are monetary. Outside, Rome carries on, indifferent to the quiet dramas within your walls. But inside, every secret shared is a lifeline, every touch a reminder that even in darkness, human connection endures. Night settles like a cloak over Pompeii, thick and slow. The Lupinar's oil lamps flicker, casting long shadows across sweating walls. The day's rougher clients have gone, replaced by men who want silence, not noise, cloaked figures who never meet your eyes. One such visitor stands at your door. You recognize him before the face appears. A senator's son, veiled and cautious. He never says his name, but he pays in gold, smells of rare cinnamon and resin oils, and moves as if sneaking into forbidden ground. Felicia becomes more than a name. You play your part perfectly, still and silent, a statue brought to life only when needed. He touches your face gently, memorizing every curve, and you let him. This is his escape from a world of rules and guilt. When it's over, he sits quietly, staring at the flickering lamp like it's his anchor. Then he drops a small bag of gold coins, 3 aurei, enough for 2 days off, maybe a new pair of sandals. You hide them beneath the loose stone under your straw mat, careful and secret. His visit leaves you stunned. So much money, so much hope wrapped in shame. You don't speak of it to anyone, not even Brynja. Outside, the city breathes under the stars. Senators lounge in torch-lit villas, oblivious to the shadows beneath their feet. You whisper your real name, the one Felicia has buried, and wonder if you'll ever speak it again. The afternoon lull fades, and with it, the brothel's energy shifts. The air thickens as daylight wanes, oil lamps flicker, and shadows stretch long through the corridors. This is when the usual crowd thins. The loud merchants, the eager youths, replaced by quieter, more secretive men. You know them well, cloaked figures who slip in without looking up, voices lowered to whispers, coins dropped silently on stone. Tonight, one such man stands at your door. You recognize him before you see his face. A senator's son, always veiled in guilt and expensive bath oil. his presence both a curse and a blessing. He never speaks much, prefers silence, control, the illusion that here no rules apply. You play your part perfectly, still and unreadable, a statue come to life only for him. When he leaves, his gold drops with a soft clink, heavier than the bronze or silver you're used to. The weight of those coins beneath your mattress feels like hope. Dangerous, sharp, but real. Hope for new clothes, a clean bath, maybe even freedom. But even as the quiet settles, you know the night is far from over. The Lupinar lives and breathes after dark, and the shadows will bring more stories, more men, and more marks to carve into these ancient walls. The night deepens, and the Lupinar settles into its rhythm of shadows and whispered secrets. The louder, more confident clients have filtered out, leaving a quieter, more dangerous crowd. Men wrapped in cloaks with deep hoods, faces hidden, their coins dropped without a glance, move like ghosts through the rooms. You watch as one such man hesitates at your door. His robe is worn, his sandals dusty, his eyes full of something heavier than shame or desire. Sadness. He doesn't meet your gaze at first, but when he finally looks, there's a flicker of desperation that feels painfully familiar. He's not here for pleasure, you realize. He's here because he has nowhere else to go. You ask his name. He shakes his head. Doesn't matter, he says. You press gently, learning it's not his first time here, just the first at the Lupinar. He confesses quietly, "My father is a magistrate. He'd die if he knew." You snort softly, knowing the truth. The powerful often visit places like this under veils of secrecy. You tell him you don't hate the men who come here, only those who lie and treat you like a shadow. He nods, finally relaxing enough to lean on your shoulder, needing the simple comfort of human touch. When he leaves, he gives you 3 coins, small but earned with honesty. You watch the door close behind him, feeling the weight of his secrets settle in the room. As evening falls, the Lupinar shifts from a place of quiet survival to a stage of whispered secrets and hidden desires. The sun dips low, casting long shadows through the narrow courtyard. The oil lamps flicker, their flames dancing like ghosts on the sweating walls. The air grows thick with the scent of spiced wine, incense, and worn leather. Tonight, the clientele changes. The loud, brash laborers and merchants retreat, replaced by men who wear their shame like a cloak, deep hoods pulled low, voices barely above whispers. One such figure stands at your door, the senator's son. You don't need his face to know him. The cinnamon-scented bath oil, the careful movements, the guilt wrapped in power. He slips inside, seeking silence and control in a world that offers neither. You guide him gently through his familiar script, offering stillness like a balm. His touch lingers, memorizing your face as if it might vanish at dawn. When he leaves, the soft clink of gold coins echoes. 3 aurei, a fortune you hide beneath your mattress. Outside, the city hums with life, but here inside, time seems to pause. The walls hold your whispered names, your scars, your hopes. You wonder how many others like him walk Rome's streets, carrying their own secrets into the night. The Lupinar settles into a weary rhythm as the night stretches on, heavy with silence and unspoken truths. The loud boasts and laughter from earlier have faded, replaced by a quiet tension that clings to the stone walls like damp fog. The shadows grow longer, and the oil lamps flicker, casting dancing shapes that feel almost alive. You sit near the doorway, counting the coins you've hidden beneath the loose stone. 3 gold pieces, more than you've seen in weeks, promise a fragile hope for a better tomorrow. But hope is dangerous here, a double-edged sword that cuts deeper the longer you hold onto it. Clients come and go, some desperate for distraction, others seeking oblivion in the anonymity of this place. You recognize the faces, their masks of bravado slipping away with every glass of watered wine. Among them, the senator's son, the quiet man who prefers stillness over noise, remains a mystery. His presence weighs on you, a reminder that even the powerful carry their own chains. Brynja catches your eye, her gaze sharp and knowing. She's seen too much, guarded too fiercely, and carries the burden of protecting the younger girls like a shield. When she asks if you cried, you almost admit the truth, but the answer stays locked away. Tears here are a luxury you can't afford. Outside, the city hums softly under the stars, indifferent to the lives tangled inside these walls. You breathe deeply, readying yourself for whatever the night may bring next. A new client, a whispered secret, or the harsh sting of reality. The name Felicia is more than just a mark on the doorframe. It's a mask, a shield, and sometimes a cage. You trace the letters etched roughly into the stone, each stroke a reminder that identity here is both currency and burden. The name might belong to you, or to a dozen others before you, recycled like costumes in a play no one applauds. Clients don't see the woman behind the name. They see a symbol, a promise, a service. Some leave marks on the walls, crude graffiti praising or mocking, a twisted ledger of memories you never asked to keep. Yet these scribbles are the closest things to a voice sex workers like you have, fragments of stories, raw and unfiltered. Tonight, a new client steps into the Lupinar. His robe is worn, his hands trembling, not the confident swagger of the usual crowd. He's lost something, maybe himself. You sit beside him without judgment, offering the quiet comfort of presence rather than words. He admits his father's name, the weight of expectation and shame heavy on his shoulders. You tell him you don't hate men like him, only those who treat you as less than human. He leaves coins behind, not for the act, but for the grace of being seen. It's a rare gift in this place where survival often means shutting down, hiding feelings, and wearing silence like armor. As the night deepens, you wonder, how many others carry such hidden burdens? How many masks have you worn, and how many will you shed before dawn? Night deepens over the Lupinar, and with it, a thick cloak of silence settles, one born not of peace, but of carefully negotiated fear. The girls retreat into themselves, worn down by the weight of countless unspoken rules. The brothel is legal, yes, but safety, that is a rare luxury. You know the cost of silence all too well. Each client brings a story, a transaction that demands discretion. Violence is whispered about but rarely named. Complaints disappear like shadows at dawn, and justice is a luxury for others, never for you. Brynja, ever vigilant, acts as both protector and enforcer. Her sharp eyes scan the room, reading danger in the smallest twitch or furtive glance. She's the unofficial guardian here, a role she wears like armor. The rumors of doormen, the so-called custodes, feel like a cruel joke when compared to Brynja's lone watchfulness. No hired muscle, no official shield, just her grit and the fragile bonds between women. You think about Leah again, that haunting reminder of what happens when the fight is lost. The fever didn't just take her health, it stripped away her place in the world. The Lupinar takes what it will, and sometimes it takes everything. The legal protections you have, registration, taxes, dress codes, are thin shields against a brutal reality. You register your name, your existence, but no law will stop a cruel hand or a cold gaze. Tonight, the price of survival is silence, and silence can be its own kind of pain. Night deepens in the Lupinar, shadows stretching like dark fingers over cracked stone floors and flickering oil lamps. The wealthy come cloaked in secrets, their faces hidden but their desperation shining through. Among them, the senator's son is a ghost who visits silently, paying gold that could buy freedom, or at least a brief escape. You watch him fold his cloak, revealing a pristine tunic beneath. The contrast between his world and yours is sharp, a world of marble halls and polished senators, a world where names mean power and silence is currency. Yet here, he seeks the illusion of forgetting, a moment where rules dissolve and vulnerability hides behind whispered requests. Felicia, he says softly, as if your name is a prayer, a shield against his own guilt. You don't ask questions, you don't offer answers. You guide him through the dance he knows, the stillness he craves. When he leaves, his gold still warm in your hand, you wonder how many more like him walk this line, caught between duty and desire, power and shame. The Lupinar is more than a brothel. It's a stage where the Empire's secrets play out in flesh and coin. Here, beneath the flickering lamps and carved names, lies a complex web of survival, control, and fragile hope. Outside, the city hums with distant revelry, but inside, time slows. Every breath a weight, every coin a promise, every night a story written in shadow. As the evening deepens, a new figure enters the Lupinar. A man cloaked in shadow, cautious and careful. You recognize him before his face fully appears. A senator's son, always veiled, always silent. His presence is a rare miracle here, a man who pays in gold and wears expensive oils that smell of cinnamon and resin, far from the usual sweat and desperation. He steps inside like he's trespassing in a sacred temple. Felicia, he whispers, as if your name is a spell. You know his preferences, silence, control, stillness, and you provide the illusion well. You guide him through the usual script, letting him memorize your face with trembling fingers, his guilt wrapped in every hesitant touch. When he finally leaves, he drops a small bag of gold coins on your bed, more than you make in a month. You hide them beneath a loose stone under your mat, a secret treasure that might buy you a future. Outside your door, the brothel shifts. The clients grow bolder, the air thick with wine and lust, but your mind lingers on those coins and the strange power they represent. A week's wages hidden beneath the floor, a step closer to buying your name back. Night thickens over the Lupinar, the low murmur of voices growing sharper, more demanding. The wealthy have arrived, swaggering in with coins clinking and eyes gleaming, expecting submission wrapped in silence. You watch from your corner, fingers tightening around the small pouch of gold that feels like a lifeline. A balding man with rings on every finger booms across the room, calling out for the girl with thighs like marble. His voice echoes like a verdict. Maripe sighs, standing as if marching to her fate. You brace yourself for the performance, another ritual of power and endurance, a show for men who think flesh is their prize. Nearby, Brynja intercepts a younger man clearly trying to exploit Lucinia's youth. She's not available, Brynja says firmly, standing like a gatekeeper to protect the vulnerable. The entitled suitor frowns, confused, but grudgingly waits. You wonder how many times Brynja's shielded the girls from such men, and how often someone once did the same for her. Your thoughts drift to the coins beneath your mat, 3 gold pieces that promise a future just out of reach. Hope is dangerous, you remind yourself. But maybe, just maybe, it's also necessary. Across the room, laughter erupts, sharp, biting, a cover for darker tensions. Shadows lengthen, secrets deepen. The Lupinar is a world of masks and whispered bargains. Tonight, power wears many faces, but all of them leave a price. Brynja's dry smirk never fails to amuse. Graffiti is everywhere in this place, she says. And she's right. The walls of the Lupinar are alive, scratched, painted, and gouged with crude poetry and messages by men who couldn't afford mosaics or thought words were better tips than coins. You've read most of them, mostly out of boredom. Some praise the girls by name. Marcia is a goddess. Others threaten or complain. One favorite reads, "I came, I paid, I came again." You wonder if that's just a default for the creatively bankrupt. Not only clients leave marks. Some girls tally visitors near their doors, keeping secret ledgers of who came and who paid. You have your own system carved under the plaster near your headboard. 1 mark for nights no one cried. 2 for full meals. 3 for those rare moments when someone treated you like a person. The images above each door are more than decoration. They're advertisements, promises of specialties. Yours shows a woman on her knees, face tilted coyly upward. It was repainted after a generous shipping agent left you a gift. 3 denarii and half a bottle of imported oil. That bottle might be the nicest thing you own. The walls remember you, even if the world forgets. You trace the lopsided heart around your name carved on the doorframe, and wonder if one day these marks will be all you leave behind. As night slips over Pompeii, the Lupinar's energy shifts. The afternoon's heat and lull give way to a charged anticipation. Oil lamps flicker, casting dancing shadows on the sweating walls, and the air thickens with whispered promises and unspoken fears. The early drunks stumble away, and the forum quiets, but a new breed of client arrives, the ones who want to be invisible, cloaked figures with deep hoods, dropping coins without meeting eyes. You recognize one before his face appears, the senator's son, always veiled in gilt and cinnamon-scented bath oil. He pays in gold, silent and careful, craving the illusion of control you provide. He touches your face gently, memorizing, while you remain still, like a statue come to life only for him. When he leaves, he drops a heavy pouch of coins that could buy you 2 days off or a new pair of sandals. You hide it beneath the loose stone behind your mat, a secret warmth against the cold reality. The room softens into a quiet lull. Girls lounge, nursing watered wine and weary eyes. Nissa warns you about men like the senator, soft starts that end messy. You think about the coins and the sliver of hope they bring, a step closer to buying your freedom, or at least a new name. Outside, the stars begin to pierce the deepening purple sky. Rome lives on above you, in its lavish halls and quiet atriums, worlds away from this place. But here, in the shadows, your story is etched in stone and whispered in silence. The Lupinar's corridors grow darker as the night deepens, the flicker of oil lamps casting long, trembling shadows on cracked walls. The sharp laughter of entitled men echoes through the halls, a stark contrast to the quiet desperation hidden behind the doors. Tonight, the air is thick with unspoken tensions between those who wield power and those who survive under it. A wealthy young man, clearly unused to this world, tries to claim a girl who's visibly ill. Brynja, the ever-watchful sentinel, blocks his path without hesitation. Her voice is firm, the kind that brooks no argument. She's not available. The youth hesitates, confusion flickering across his face, but he steps back, grudgingly waiting or choosing another. You watch this dance of power and protection with a mix of admiration and sorrow. Brynja guards not just the girls, but fragile dignity, especially for the young and vulnerable. How many times has she shielded those too weak or too broken to fight back? The Lupinar doesn't just house bodies, it holds scars, secrets, and shadows. Later, a familiar figure slips through the shadows. Leah, once one of you, now a ghost haunted by fever and hardship. No one stops her. This place keeps its ghost close, part of the fabric now. You wonder about the stories she carries, the battles she lost. The Lupinar is a world of contrasts, legal yet unsafe, survival and surrender tangled together. And in the quiet moments between chaos, you hold on to whatever strength you can muster. The graffiti on the walls is a living archive, etched by those who came before, by clients and girls alike. Names scratched hastily, crude poems, insults, declarations of desire. Brynja calls it the Lupinar's heartbeat, a chorus of voices trapped in stone and plaster. Your own name, Felicia, is carved in many places, sometimes spelled wrong, sometimes with a crude heart. It might be yours, or a mask you wear. Some girls pick names for luck, others inherit them from Lenones, and some legends say these names were recycled, like costumes. Walking the hallway, you pass rooms lit by flickering oil lamps. The frescoes above each door advertise specialties, some wild, others subtle. Yours shows a woman on her knees, a hint of submission and invitation. A shipping agent once left you 3 denarii and a bottle of imported oil, the finest possession you own. The common room hums with gossip and laughter. Brynja counts her wax tablet tallies, and you perch beside her. A new merchant eyes you. Clean tunic, new sandals, the type who pretends he's here by accident. You trade half lies and guarded smiles before he leaves, brushing your hand like a secret. These moments, these marks, they're your legacy. Not children, not stories, but the stubborn scratch of existence on a wall. You used to hope for more, but now you pray the stones remember you better than the world ever will. Morning light seeps weakly through the cracked walls of the Lupinar, but the world inside still feels heavy with last night's whispers. You sit quietly, counting the coins tucked safely beneath the loose stone by your bed, the 3 golden pieces from the magistrate's sun shining like a promise. It's more than you've seen in weeks, enough to think about a future beyond the rough stones and dim oil lamps. The walls around you tell stories too. Graffiti covers every surface, a tapestry of desperate poetry, crude jokes, and desperate names. Men left their marks here, some praising girls by name, others issuing warnings or leaving empty boasts. Some girls tally their nights on their doorframes, little ledgers of survival and small kindnesses. You've made your own marks too. Scratches for nights without tears, meals shared, moments when a client saw you as a person, not just flesh. Those last scratches are rare, but they remind you that humanity still exists here, buried beneath the grime. Brynja mutters about the latest carving, your name again, near the goat fresco. You joke about charging more or demanding a new door, but she just shrugs and returns to her counting. The Lupinar is alive, not just with bodies, but with memories and small rebellions. These marks, these names, are your legacy in a world that tries to forget you. The dawn is still hours away, but sleep eludes you. The coins beneath the loose stone weigh heavier than their worth. 3 gold pieces, enough to dream of freedom, yet not enough to claim it. Every night you touch them and wonder if they carry more than wealth. Maybe hope, maybe a promise. Felicia. The name carved into the wood beside your door. Not your real name, but the one you answer to, the mask you wear. You wonder about the girl who wore it before you, or if there ever was one. Names here are currency, identity bought and sold like the bodies that carry them. You think about your real name, the one your mother whispered when you were still whole. It sounds foreign on your tongue now, like a stranger's word from a past life. Could you ever claim it again? Would anyone call you by it without sneer or pity? The Lupinar is quiet except for the soft murmur of those who, like you, are caught between worlds. You rise and move to the small window, watching Rome breathe beneath a sky beginning to blush. The city's power and cruelty feel distant here, yet inescapable. You know tomorrow will bring the same parade of need and pretense. Men wearing masks more elaborate than any cloak, women weaving their own stories to survive. And through it all, the unyielding question, what freedom means when every step is weighed down by the past. For now, you tuck the coins away, whisper your real name once more, and close your eyes. The night is not over, but you rest, briefly. The heavy stone walls whisper secrets no one dares speak aloud. Here, inside the Lupinar, Rome's most notorious brothel, time slows and sharpens all at once. The air is thick with sweat, oil, and desperation, heavy enough to cling to your skin. This place isn't just about fleeting pleasure. It's a tangled web of power, fear, and survival beneath flickering oil lamps. You're not just selling your body. You're selling illusion, safety, and a sliver of your soul. Clients drift in like shadows, some eager, some broken, all chasing something they cannot name. Outside these walls, Rome's grandeur pulses. Senators debate laws, slaves fan nobles, the empire thrives. But here, rules shift like sand. Freedom is a whispered myth, and every smile hides a story you'd rather not hear. The walls themselves are alive, scratched with names, crude poetry, and tallies marking nights survived. They remember you. You wonder if these faded marks will be all that remains after the torches burn low and your voice is silenced forever. The city carries on unaware, but inside the Lupinar, every breath, every glance is a gamble. Brinier's dry smirk never fails to amuse. Graffiti's everywhere, she says, gesturing at the walls of the Lupinar. But these marks aren't just decoration, they're alive. Scratched names, crude poetry, and half-forgotten jokes carved by men who couldn't afford mosaics or preferred words to coins. You've read most of them, out of boredom or curiosity. Some praise the girls by name. Marcia is a goddess. Others warn, Nysa stole my coin. One, so worn it's almost a joke, simply reads, I came, I paid, I came again. You wonder if that's a default message for the creatively bankrupt. The girls scratch tallies near their doors, a secret ledger. You have your own code hidden beneath the plaster by your bed. 1 mark for a night without tears, 2 for a full meal, 3 for being treated like a person. Those last marks are rare. Above each door, painted frescoes advertise specialties. Yours shows a woman on her knees, face lifted coquettishly. Repainted last year after a generous gift from a shipping agent. That bottle of imported oil is your most prized possession. Graffiti, tallies, and frescoes. These are your legacy. No children, no stories, no grand grave. Just marks fading into stone. You trace your name, Felicia, carved with a lopsided heart. It might be you, or just another girl wearing that name like a mask. The evening wears on, and the Lupinar shifts into its darker rhythm. The rush of loud, careless clients fades, replaced by the quiet shuffle of those who come seeking more than pleasure, seeking escape, confession, or perhaps a final refuge. You notice a figure slipping silently into the back rooms. A woman, small and limping, her face hidden beneath a scarf. The other girls barely glance her way. She's not working tonight. She's a ghost, a shadow from the past. Leah. You remember her. Pale, fevered, fading before she vanished. No one stops her. This place doesn't turn away its ghosts. The room's energy feels heavy, burdened by stories no one wants to tell. Menacing laughter bubbles up from the common room, but here in the shadows, silence reigns. You sit with a few others on the cold tile floor, chewing stale bread and sipping sour wine, the taste a reminder of survival rather than comfort. Gossip floats through the air like smoke. Whispers of a veiled priestess visiting earlier, locked away with Brynja for an hour. No one believes it was just a talk. Secrets cling to the walls, thicker than the incense burning faintly in the corners. Roman prostitutes live a paradox, legal yet unprotected, marked by laws but vulnerable to violence and betrayal. Registration and dress codes offered no true safety. This bitter truth hangs in the air like the fading light of dusk. Outside, Rome pulses on, indifferent. Here, the Lupinar breathes stories, some whispered, some carved in stone, of lives caught between power and survival. Night deepens and the Lupinar hums with a restless tension. The wealthy men who come cloaked in silence carry secrets heavier than their gold coins. Tonight, a new visitor arrives, a senator's son, veiled and cautious, but with the unmistakable scent of cinnamon and resin that marks his rare, forbidden indulgence. He moves through the shadows like a man who knows every step could bring ruin. His presence is a fragile mix of privilege and fear, control and desperation. You guide him through the familiar dance, silent, still, untouchable, offering a moment where he can forget the suffocating expectations of his world. This power play is more than just a transaction. It's a fragile illusion where hierarchy melts away, where a senator's son kneels before you, stripped of titles, just a man seeking comfort in anonymity. The brothel walls, scarred by centuries of whispered confessions and crude poetry, witness this quiet rebellion. Every name carved, every mark made, is a testament to lives lived in shadows, yearning for acknowledgement. But behind the fleeting moments of gold and whispered names lies a brutal truth. Freedom here is a delicate thread, constantly threatened by the harsh realities of empire and class. As dawn threatens the edges of night, you tuck away the gold coins, your heart heavy with the weight of unspoken stories. Outside, Rome awakens, indifferent as ever. Inside, the Lupinar waits for its next secret to unfold. The Lupinar pulses with restless energy, as if the walls themselves are bracing for a coming storm. The usual crowd has thinned, replaced by a more dangerous breed of men, those who wear arrogance like armor and cruelty like a weapon. The loud, drunken group stumbles in, their laughter sharp and hollow. They don't seek comfort or kindness. They want to dominate, to mark their territory in this shadowed world. You recognize the balding man with rings on every finger, the type who thinks the world owes him everything and more. He calls out, searching for the girl with thighs like marble, reducing women to nothing more than trophies. Maripe, resigned yet defiant, steps forward like she's been called to battle, not pleasure. You brace yourself, knowing what's coming. Yet amidst the chaos, you keep your distance, counting the precious coins that might finally change your fate. The weight of hope is sharp and dangerous, but you clutch it tightly anyway. Then, a different figure slips in, a young, wealthy man trying too hard to look above it all. He heads for Lucinia, barely 17, and your heart clenches. Brynia blocks him firmly, a guardian of fragile innocence in a brutal world. The night is thick with unspoken threats, but also with a strange kind of resilience. You watch, waiting for the storm to break or pass, and wondering which it will be.